The method that we are going to discuss today is logistic regression. There are many names of this technique. Some say it is a logit model, probit model, tobit model, and logistic regression. So there is a complete class of technique which is similar to this. And in marketing, so when I taught marketing analytics, so I count this technique in the area of predictive modeling and probability modeling. Probability modeling. So I'm giving a name to this method as probability modeling. Why probability modeling? Because we are going to model the probability of an event. So we have to understand that what is the probability of an event. Okay. Now, basic theory. First of all, we have to understand what is the basic theory behind the logistic regression. In regression modeling, most of us are very, very comfortable on the regression model. In a regression model, it is basically assumed that the dependent variable is a scale variable and the independent variables are the combination of the scale and nominal variables. It is a normal regression model. But there are many special cases where the dependent variable is not a scale variable, it is a binary variable. So there are two possibilities when the dependent variable is a binary variable. The two possibilities are I'm telling you. One is discriminant analysis, where we assume that the dependent variable is category, like, and we assign 1, 2, 3, 4 to the category variable. And second possibility is the logistic regression, where we assign only 0 and 1. Where we assign 0 and 1, and that's why I call it binary. So in logistic regression, one thing is very clear. The dependent variable is a binary variable having only two values, 0 and 1. And this 0 and 1 is based on some event. I'm giving you some example. Like if some company did a fraud, we assign 1. If not, assign 0. Suppose in your college, company comes, some student plays, some student did not place. Then the student which are placed, we can call them 1. And those who are not placed, we can call them 0. And in banking sector, the customers who did the fraud assigned to be 1, and the normal customers are assigned to be 0. I got one of the project from a bank. They gave me the 1 day banking transactions, and there are around 8 lakhs transactions in a day. But they divide those transactions into two groups. One is the fraud transactions, and second is the normal transactions. So the transactions which were fraud, we assign them 1, and the normal transaction we assign them 0. In another project, the professor want to study the migration of the villagers. So he divided the villagers into two categories. The adult, the resident of the villages who migrated is 1, and the adult who are still there in the village is 0. So the first and the basic thing in logistic regression is that your dependent variable is having only two possibilities, 1 and 0. And if the event happens, we call it 1, and the event is not happening, it is called 0. For example, if you are selling your product, so you meet any person, if he buy your product, you assign 1. If he rejected your product, then it is 0. So there are two possibilities, 1 and 0. Even in finance, even once I conducted a study, the shares who becomes double in 5 years, I call them 1. These shares are known as multi-baggers, and the normal shares are 0. So because we want to define that what are the different factors which are influencing the probability of become multi-bagger. So the first thing, I think this is clear to you. So the second point which is mentioned here, there is a special class of models for regression analysis in which the dependent variable has only two values, 0 and 1, where 0 means absence of a condition and 1 means presence of a condition. So I hope you understand the 1 and 0 means, the 0 means absence of a condition and 1 means presence of a condition. So the dependent variable is a dichotomous variable. The independent variable may be the scale variable, maybe the category variable, that is not a problem. But the dependent variable is always a binary. Independent variable, maybe metric, maybe the or a ratio variable or a nominal variable. I call these variables as probability models. Probability models. So this is not a very common name, but in a practice we call these models as probability models. Why? Because the dependent variable is actually the probability, right? And the objective of applying the logistic regression or probability models is to find out the impact of different independent variables on the probability of the dependent variable, right? So the objective of these models is to find out the cause and effect relationship between the independent variables and the probability of the event. This is the objective. Okay. Actually, in business, everybody want to know that what is the probability that I will be hired. If you are investing in a company, you want to know what is the probability that I will make the profit. And if you are going to make a sales, you want to know that what is the probability that the buyer buy my product. If you are going to attend an interview, you want to know that what is the probability that I will be hired. So probability is very common thing in business, and most of us are interested in calculating this probability. So this is one of the basic models of the probability, where we can predict the probability of an event with the help of some independent variables. So this is called probability models. Now the first probability model is known as linear probability model. The first and the basic probability model is known as linear probability model. Like in this case, you know that first of all you can observe few things. This pi is nothing, is the probability. The pi is the probability, and x is my independent variable. Here I am taking only one independent variable, that is xi, x1, and I am going to apply the OLS regression to predict this pi, dependent variable. And because I am applying the OLS model to predict the probability, this model is known as linear probability model. Linear probability model. And in short form, this model is known as LPM, linear probability model. So what is linear probability model? When we are running the regression with the help of OLS, keeping the probability as a dependent variable is called linear probability model. And in linear probability model, the basic property of this model is that the dependent variable is always lying on a straight line. So this is the probability line. This line is known as probability line, right? This is a regression line, but because the dependent variable is probability, so we call it probability line. And the probability of any event is having a very basic assumption that the probability cannot be less than 0 and the probability cannot be more than 1. It is a mathematical assumption that probability of any event cannot be less than 0 and the probability of any event cannot be more than 1. So we assume that the probability of an event should lie between 0 and 1. So you can see that it is 0 and it is 1. And the probability should lie between this range. And in linear probability model, this probability is a straight line. This is one of the assumptions. Now let's move. Okay. This model, as I said, this model is known as linear probability model. And we are predicting the probability of an event with the help of the independent variable. Okay. Now I'm going to run one of the model in SPSS so that we can discuss the result there. And data I already shared with you. You are having all the data set so that if you want to run, you can run very easily. I'm going to run linear probability model first. And give me 1 minute. I'm opening the data file. This is my linear probability model. In this model, there are two variables. One variable is the income, and dependent variable is the probability that the person is having a housing loan. Okay. Now this is the data, and it is the probability that the person have the housing loan. And second is the income, monthly income. Monthly income. And if you see the data, the dependent variable is having only the 0 and 1. It means because if you meet a person, either that person is having the loan or not, right? In the real data set, we are having only the probability 1 and 0. Anybody who is having the housing loan 1, anybody who is not having the housing loan 0. So suppose data is collected from many people. In this case, we are having the data of I think 40 customers, and those who are not having the housing loan, we put them 0, and those who are having the housing loan, we put them 1. And we are interested in finding out that how much the monthly income of the customer is having the influence on the probability. This is the simplest model, and I am going to run it. The analyze linear regression linear. I'm just running the linear regression model on this data set. So my probability is my dependent variable. You know that in LPM, probability is a dependent variable, and monthly income I'm putting in an independent variable. And just I'm clicking the OK. Now the R square value is 69%. Not bad, good. And FA statistic is also significant. Good. So FA statistic of 86 indicating that the model is a statistical fit. Now the most important thing is the regression model. So I'm writing the regression model here. The probability is equal to my intercept is 0.089 plus 0.017 multiplied by income. Now in this equation, so I am taking all the values from here. This equation is giving you the value of alpha and beta. And this equation, this value is known as slope coefficient. And this value is showing you the impact of the income on the probability. So first of all, we want to know that whether this is significant or this is not significant. If we find out the t statistic and p value, so we found that t statistic is more than 1.96. The t statistic is more than 1.96. The p value is less than 0.05. So it means the monthly income has a significant impact on the probability of having the housing loan. Now what this beta means? So what this beta means, so I'm writing here the slope coefficient, of 1.7%. If I multiply it by the 100, it is it percentage? It is 1.7%, or you can write 0.017. There is nothing, no difference. The slope coefficient of 1.7% indicates what? Indicates that when income increases by 1 unit, because our income is in 1000, so we can put 1000. When the income increases by 1000 rupees, the probability of taking housing loan increases by how much? 1.7%. 1.7%. So this is the meaning of beta in linear probability model. And this point is very important, I'm telling you, because without understanding this, you cannot understand the logistic regression. So that's why I'm moving slow and explaining the basic concept. Now, I hope you understand that what is the beta? Beta means when income increases by income increases by 1000, the probability of taking housing loan increases by around 1.7%. It is due to the nature of the beta. And if the probability of if the monthly income of a person increases by 10,000, suppose if the monthly income of a person, of a customer, increases by 10,000, then in that case the probability of taking housing loan increases by 17%, 10 times, right? So this is because of the nature of the beta. So in this case, we can assume that we can find out that if the income increases by this much, how much is the probability of taking housing loan increases. And at any point of time, if we are not talking about the increase, if we are talking about the actual monthly income. Now suppose the monthly income of a person is, let's say 100 simply means 1 lakh. So if you put this value in income, you can find out the probability that the person is having the housing loan, right? So in this way, we can understand the linear probability model. Okay, now after explaining the concept of beta and the alpha, I want to see the predicted values of this regression model. Let me save the predicted values again. So now you can see that I'm going to the running the regression again, and I'm saving. What I'm saving? I'm saving the predicted values. Predicted values, right? So what are the predicted values according to the linear probability model? So the predicted values comes in the data. Now this is the predicted values. If you see the predicted values, you can find out a very simple problem. You can observe a very simple problem in the probability. I hope you can make a guess of this. So I'm showing you the probability of the prediction as per the linear probability model, and you can identify the problems in the prediction very easily. So tell me, what is the problem? Yeah. So some of the candidates, some of you are rightly guess it why that the probability is finding out to be more than 1. The predicted values, the yellow, which is shaded by the yellow, it is found to be more than 1 and less than 1 also. So this is found to be more than 1, and it may be possible. In many cases, it is found to be less than 1. So it is not possible, right? So the problem number 1 in this case is the problem number 1 is that the predicted values of the probability, the predicted values of the probability are found more than 1 and also less than 1 in some cases. Less than 1, and this is not possible. This is not possible. This is not possible. Probability cannot be more than 1. Probability cannot be less than 0. It is not possible. So many people do a lot of critics to this model. So they say that this model is giving us the wrong prediction. We should not use this model. And basic problem with this model is this. Second problem number 2, I'm telling you. If I hope this is clear to you, because it is the simplest problem which we can see in the predictions. Second problem, if you can see, you can observe. Suppose we plot the regression line. This is a regression line, and this line, the cross is 1 and 0. Why? Because the probability is found to be more than 1 and the probability is found to be less than 0. So it crosses the 0 and 1 and may go beyond. This is one problem. The second problem is that between 0 and 1, the probability is moving like a straight line. Now, what is the problem here? I'm telling you, somebody who is having the monthly income of 5,000, it is the existing monthly income of a person. And suppose his boss say that now I'm going to increase your salary by 1,000. So so now his salary moves to 6K, from 5K to 6K. This is the increase in the salary. And because of this, the increase in the probability is also 1.7%. If the salary increases by 1,000, the probability of taking housing loan increases by 1.7%. Now, somebody who is having the salary of 2 lakhs and his boss say that now your salary is 2 lakhs 1,000. So this salary also increases to 2 lakhs 2.01 lakhs. And if we plot it, the probability that he will take housing loan also increases by 1.7%. Now think with your common sense. So if a person is having the salary of 5,000 and salary increases by 1,000, and we are saying that the probability of taking housing loan increases by 1.7%. Another person who is having already the salary of 2 lakhs, and if salary increases by 1,000, and we are saying the same thing, that the salary, the probability of taking housing loan also increased by 1.7%. This is a rubbish thing. It is not practically possible. It is not practically possible. I can say that the probability of taking housing loan of these two people cannot be same. So there is a challenge of this model. Many statisticians say that this model is not applicable model, because the probability of two persons cannot be same. The probability of 1,000 people cannot be same of taking the housing loan. The person who is having the salary, very less salary, cannot think about taking the housing loan even if the salary increase by 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. And somebody who is having the salary of 1,000, 1 lakh, the probability is different. The person who is having the salary of 2 lakhs, the probability is different. So we should find out the actual probability, not this linear probability. Now, how to find out the actual probability? So there is a sigmoid function in the mathematics. So the function is called sigmoid function. Now the sigmoid function comes into picture, and this sigmoid function say that the probability should lie like this. For many customers in the beginning, the probability of taking housing loan should be 0, because up to a level they are not interested in buying the house, and within a range the probability is very high. Within a range the probability is very high. And after that, if your salary is beyond any level, it means the possibility that you are already having the housing loan is very high. So you may not take another housing loan. So now this curve decreases. So we want the model which can predict the probability according to the sigmoid function rather than on a straight line. So this problem is the second problem of linear probability model, which gives the genesis of the logic model. So I hope you have clarity on this part, that linear probability model gives you the probability on the straight line, but we can challenge this, that probability of different persons cannot be same. So we want the actual probability, and the sigmoid function captures the real behavior of the probability. So we want some model which can predict the probability on the sigmoid function. Okay, so now I'm going to introduce the logistic regression model. Let me go back to the PPT. Okay. Now, the basic problem, there are 4 problems in the linear probability model. One, we already discussed, that the probability of linear probability model are found to be more than 1 less than 0. And the second problem is that, second problem is very important problem. The linear probability model, which means the OLS model, assumes that the dependent variable is normally distributed. The OLS model assumes that the dependent variable is normally distributed. But it is a fact that the binary variable cannot be normally distributed. The binary variable cannot be normally distributed, as well as the error term should not be normally distributed. So here we should change the distribution, and the actual distribution should be binomial distribution, not the normal distribution. So there is an issue of the distribution, and this assumption is violated in case of the regression model when you are using the binary variable as a dependent variable. The third problem is the problem of heteroscedasticity. I'm just telling you what is the heteroscedasticity. When your dependent variable is a binary variable, the error term also near to be 0 and 1. The error term should also be near to the 0 and 1. And if you compare the error is always the difference between the actual value and the predicted value. You know that the error of a regression model is the difference between the actual value of y minus the predicted value. So this error term is not found to have the constant variance. The variance of this error term sometimes is very low and sometimes are very high. So the assumption of homoscedasticity will not maintain by the error term. So if you check the heteroscedasticity of the error term, it is showing you the problem. So this is another problem of linear probability model, that the error terms are not homoscedastic. And the fourth problem we have already discussed. The probability value should become 0 and 1, and it should be non-linear. So you can see that the probability value should be non-linear. So because of these four problems, we are looking for some model which can solve all these problems and give us the better results. Okay, so now I'm telling you how this concept of logistic will come. So that before moving to the next slide, I just want to show you how this concept of logistic will come. Let me open the whiteboard. Now there is a function. There is a function called sigmoid function, and according to the sigmoid function, the probability value is equal to e to the power x, or you can take e to the power z, 1 plus e to the power z. So this is the probability of, this is the function, and this function is called sigmoid function. So this is this function gives you the behavior of the probability like this. It is a sigmoid function, and this is the behavior which is very close to the probability behavior. So we started with this. Okay. Now what is z here? Here z is basically, so I'm writing here, z is equal to alpha plus beta into x plus error term. So this is my z, or you can take it y, that is not a problem. Suppose I am assuming the left hand side of this equation, as z. You know that in linear probability model, we say that pi equal to alpha plus beta into x plus e. So we call this part, basically this part, because error is the residual, this part as z. So I assume that z is alpha plus beta into x. Now I am calculating the probability of this. Okay. In P, in the probability, P, what is P? P is the probability of an event. What is P? P is the probability of an event. So can we calculate the probability of not happening of the event? Right. So what is the probability that event will not happen? You know that if we subtract from 1 minus P is the probability that the event will not happen. Okay. Now let's calculate 1 minus e to the power z upon 1 plus e to the power z. And let's solve it. It is 1 plus e to the power z minus e to the power z and 1 plus e to the power z. So it is a simple calculation. I hope you will not afraid from this. So let me remove this, and ez cancel, and it is simply equal to 1 upon 1 plus e to the power z. So we calculate the probability of an event, and we calculate the probability of not happening of an event. Now I am calculating the concept called odd ratio. So there is a concept called odd ratio. Odd ratio is the ratio of the probability of an event upon probability of not happening of an event. So we are having a concept called odd ratio. Odd ratio is the probability of an event upon not happening of the probability of an event, or probability of not happening of the event. So here P is this. What is the value of P? The value of P is 1 upon 1 plus e to the power z. And what is the 1 minus P? 1 minus P is 1 upon 1 plus e to the power z. Okay, so if you know simple mathematics, we can cancel this, and this is only the value of z. So here we can write the remaining part here. So we find that 1p upon 1 minus p equal to e to the power z. Now if I take the log of both the sides, so log of p upon 1 minus p is equal to log e to the power z, and you know that if log e is always 1, the value of log e is always 1, so we can write here z log e, and finally we reach at this equation log 1 upon p is equal to z. Now what is z? Z is, now we replace the z. Z is equal to x plus alpha plus beta into x, right, plus e. So this equation is known as logistic regression model. Logistic regression model, right? So finally what we are doing, the probability is equal to e to the power z upon 1 plus e to the power z, and we can convert this equation into log P upon 1 minus P is equal to alpha plus beta 1, x1, beta 2, x2, and so on, plus E. So we are having two models here. The first model is known as the logit function, and this equation is known as logistic regression. So this function is known as logistic regression. Even if you do not understand the mathematics, don't worry. You must know what two things only here. What is the logit function? Logit function is used to calculate the probability. So I'm telling you what is logit function. Logit function is used to calculate the probability, and logistic regression is used to estimate the values of regression coefficients. So these two things we will incorporate in the logistic regression model. Okay. Now, if you just please note down, if you have any piece pen and paper, kindly note down these two things, because we are going to use these two equations again and again. And if you understand only these two equations, everything will be clear. Okay. So now I am going to the logistic regression part. I will explain you each and everything from the data set. So I am going to open the data set and let me run the logistic regression model. So now let's move. Clear, and go back to the SPSS file and clear it. Okay, first of all, I will apply the bivariate logistic regression model, and then I will move to multivariate logistic regression model. P is the probability here, income is the income here, and I'm going to apply the logistic regression in this. Go to analyze regression, and you can see that we are having a command that is called binary logistic. So this complete family is logistic family. Binary logistic, multinomial logistic, ordinal logistic, probit logistic. This is ordinal regression, probit also. So, but here we are going to apply the binary logistic. In binary logistic, dependent variable is my probability always, and independent variable is the covariates. And let me check any other options I should give. No, I do not want to save anything. Options, no, nothing. Okay, I just click OK. Now let's see what is the result. So you will get the result here, and basically from the model summary you should check from here. First, this is my table number 1, this is my table number 2, and this is my table number 3. So these tables are very, very important from analysis point of view. Let me explain each and everything in the result. The first value here is called model summary. Okay, I'm just sharing this. Let me share it. I hope you can see now. Okay, so you are not able to see the command. Let me repeat it, no problem. So I hope you can see the data set. I hope you can see the data set. Yeah. Now I'm showing you the commands. Go to analyze and the regression, and it is a binary logistic. In this case, we are having some probit command also, multinomial logistic also, binary logistic also. So we are going to apply the binary logistic. In binary logistic, the probability should come on the dependent variable. Probability should come in the dependent variable, and monthly income should come on the independent variable. So even if you are having 2 or 3 variables, independent variables in the regression, you can send them into the this portion, and now we can click on. After this, you are having the results, and the basic results are coming in the last 3 tables. This is table number 1, table number 2, table number 3. These are the most important tables, and now I am showing you the meaning of the results. So first value you can see here is known as -2 log likelihood. -2 log likelihood. So what is this value? Actually, in binary logistic, we are not applying the OLS model. We applied the maximum likelihood estimation criteria. Basically, there are two type of regression models. One is OLS and second is maximum likelihood estimation. It is not a linear model, it is a non-linear model. So whenever you apply maximum likelihood estimation method, you always get the value of log likelihood. And you can see that the software already adjusted the -2 value here, which means if you are running two logistic regression models, if you compare two different models, the highest value of -2 log likelihood value will be better. So in simple language, I can say that the higher the value of -2 log likelihood, better is the model. Better is the model. I will show this impact when we will use the multivariate binary logistic. Then I will show you that if we add some more variables, this value, if increases, we will keep the variable in the model. And by adding one new variable, if this value decreases, we should not add that variable in the model. So this is the goodness of it. Higher it is, better it is. The second value is basically Cox and Snell R square and Nagel Karke R square. So actually, because we are not applying the OLS regression model, so there is a problem that how to calculate the goodness of it, how to find out the R square of this model. So we are not having any specific method of calculating the R square, but there are these are the two methods which are giving you the lower limit and the upper limit of the R square. Now, what is the meaning of this Cox and additional R square and Nagel Karke R square? That the R square of this regression model lies between the 71.9% and 95.9%. So we are not having the single value of R square, rather we are having the value of a range. So this is the range of the R square. The model have the R square in the range of this. After that, we are having the value called hit ratio. So this ratio, this is a ratio which is telling you the accuracy of the model. This ratio is known as hit ratio, and this 95% is indicating that 95% of the prediction is right. Prediction, 95% of the prediction in sample data is accurate. So we are not accurate. We are not predicting the out of the sample data. We are only predicting the in sample data, and we are getting the 95% prediction according to this. So if you understand this, these values, like 94% cases are correct for the probability of 0, and 95.2% of the cases are correct in case of 1. So overall correctness is 95%, which is quite impressive. Now finally, we are having the values and the regression model, which we can write from this regression coefficients is probability log of probability upon 1 minus p is equal to minus 29 to 37 plus 1.054 multiplied by monthly income. Now, the basic problem in logistic regression is to interpret this. And it is very, very difficult to interpret this because this value indicates that if monthly income increases by 1 unit, the log of the odd ratio increases by 1.054, which is a very complicated interpretation. You cannot understand the meaning of this, right? If I say if monthly income of customer increases by 1 unit, the log of the odd ratio increases by 1.0054. It is very complicated concept and we cannot understand this. So now, as I told you earlier, that regression is captured by the logistic regression and the probability is captured by logit function. So we will use this logit function e to the power z upon 1 plus e to the power z to predict the probability, right? So first of all, let me show you that how to predict how to convert this equation into the probability. How to convert this equation into the probability. So I'm just going to tell you that this is a very important function, important practice, and not explained in any book or in any video lecture also. So let me copy this I am taking this result and going to the Excel file, because logit model we can apply only in Excel file. I'm opening a simple Excel file here. Let me share the. Okay, so now I am going to open an Excel file. This part is quite important. Please see logistic, or I can write it probability calculation. Probability calculation. Okay, now let me go to this, and I type the calculated values here. These values I am taking from the regression model. I hope you can see the Excel file. Just try to find out that what I'm doing. Now I'm doing some of the calculation. Please see carefully. This is the most crucial part. My dependent variable is income, and the income, I have to find out the range of this income. So let me analyze this, and I just want to see the minimum and maximum value, maximum value of the income. So minimum value is 6 and maximum value is 88. I hope you can see it. The minimum income of the customer is 6,000 and maximum is 88,000. Okay, so I start from the 6, 7, 8, and I will drag it to the 88. Okay. So this is the range of the income. This is the range of the income. Okay. Now, I am interested in calculating the value of Z. I am interested in calculating the value of Z. What is the value of Z? So I'm writing here. The Z value is actually alpha plus beta into X. So this is the value of Z. Okay. Alpha, this is our alpha. This is the alpha and this is the beta. And what is X? This is my X. So I'm calculating the value of Z. So value of Z is equal to alpha. And because it is a constant, so I'm putting the dollar to it. Plus, what is my beta? This is my beta. Plus, this is my beta. It is also constant. And I'm multiplying it by whom? X. Now, please be confirmed that what I'm doing. I am multiplying the alpha and beta into X. I am calculating this equation, that alpha plus beta into X. So this is the value of Z here. So let me copy it. So I am getting the value of Z. So from this Z, now I am going to calculate the probability by applying this function e to the power Z upon 1 plus e to the power Z. So now I'm going to apply this formula. So this is the probability, and probability is equal to exponential, e means exponential of Z divided by 1 plus exponential of Z. Yeah. So this is the probability, and let's run it. And I want this number, this as a number. So this is the calculated value of the probability. And now let's run it. I am plotting this probability. Okay. So this is the behavior of the probability. This is the behavior of the probability. And even if I take this value from here to here, let me try to reduce the value of 1 so that we can find out the sigmoid function. Okay, so here you can see that I am able to find out the exact value of the probability. Now, how to conclude it, I am telling you. But let me show you this first. Let me reduce it to this 25,000, 20,000. Okay, now what is my conclusion? This value also we can change, and we are having a function that edit select data and edit. So I want to select a range from the range selected by हमें देखना पड़ेगा कहाँ से कहाँ तक था 20 20. So from 20 and up to this level. Okay, so it means if the income of the person is less than 23, it is very sure less than even 24. If the income of the person is less than 24, the chances are very low that he is having the housing loan. And if the income is more than, you can see here, if the income is more than 33,000, 34,000, the probability is that they are having the housing loan. And this area between this and this, it is known as actually highly sensitive area. High sensitive area. High sensitive area means the customer who lies in this area are having a lot of probability. The probability is very high that they will take the housing loan. So your customer actually lying in this area, in this region. These are not your customers. These are not your customers. Your customers actually lying in this region. And if you target this region, then it means you can capture, you can have most of your customers in this range. Okay, so this is the way we conduct the logistic regression. Now, because this is a bivariate, I'm moving to the multivariate binary logistic regression. After this example, I hope this example is clear. And let me go to the multivariate part. So, because I'm going to repeat some of the steps, so don't worry, you will understand all these steps. Let me remove it. So whenever you are, if you are thinking to write a paper on logistic, you have to plot these kind of graphs. Otherwise, because probability graphs are very important in logistic regression. Now let's move to the next example, and there we will do some more detailed discussion. And okay. Now I'm going to open another file. This file is in CSV format, and so I'm just selecting the CSV format. Migration file I'm going to open, and the software will take hardly 1 minute to open this file and finish. Okay, let me explain you this data first so that we can discuss it. Actually, it is a project that the government of Gujarat gave a project to one of the professor that kindly find out the factors or the variables which can influence the behavior of migration of the villagers in the villages. So in this data set, this is a part of the data set where we are having 500 observations. So this data set is of the data set of 500 observations where the migration is the dependent variable, and 1 means this villager migrated from the village. 0 means this person is still living in the village. And we want to predict the migration. Actually, there are many variables in the original data set, but for the demonstration, I am taking 4 data sets, 4 variables here. One is the what is the size of the agriculture field they are having, and how many members are there in the family, and what is the caste of the person. So here we are taking from 1 to 3, and 1 means SC, ST, and general. And alternative occupation means whether the family is having some alternative occupation. If yes, then 1, 0, otherwise 0 if not. So now we are going to apply the logistic regression in this data set. So I'm going to explain a step-by-step process. And because most of the steps I'm going to repeat, don't worry if something is missing. And I will share the video lecture with you also. So don't worry. And now I'm going to apply the logistic regression. Go to analyze, regression, binary logistic, and the migration is my dependent variable. and all the variables here are my independent variables, and simply click OK. So we have to see the last three tables. In this case, first of all, I have to develop my final model. And this log likelihood is 188. The R square value 63 to 84%. 97.2 is the accuracy of the model. And P value is indicating that cast is not having significant. Cast is not a significant variable. All other variables are found to be significant. So I have to check, can I remove the cast or not? Can I remove this variable or not? So the criteria is that if you, by removing this variable, the log likelihood value increases, then it's good. If decreases, then I will keep it back. So let me run it again by removing the cast. And my current value of log likelihood is 188.36. And now the next value is 188.64. So it actually increases. So it means if we are removing the variable and the log likelihood value increases, it means this variable is not a right variable for the model. Better it is out of the model. So I hope now you understand that what is the meaning of log likelihood. If I remove some important variable, what happens to log likelihood? Let me check it. If I remove some important variable, let's say member of the family, and then you can see that the log likelihood value increases. Yeah, this, it means something is problem. 50, the earlier value is the earlier value is 63, 84 and 188. Then this value is 329, 51 and 68. So I think my interpretation is opposite. For -2 log likelihood, it means higher the value. Okay, I have to check it. Log likelihood value, I have to check it. But the R square value is decreasing. It means this is a important variable. So I should add it back. And I should add this variable because there is a significant drop in the R square. Now my R square is 63 to 84%, and it is found to be significant. So I should keep this variable. Okay. There are few observations in this file. Number one, all the values are significant, and this is the exponential beta, right? So I want to explain what is the exponential beta here and what is the value of the beta. So what is the difference between this beta and the exponential beta? Okay, now let me try to explain it. We know that the logistic regression model can be written as this log p upon 1 minus p is equal to alpha plus beta 1 into x1 plus beta 2 into x2. So here my beta 1 is the rate of change of log p upon 1 minus p upon xi. So actually this beta, this explanation of beta is very complicated. So if we take the exponential beta, so exponential beta can be defined as the rate of change of odd ratio upon rate of change of xi. So we are having two values here. One is the exponential beta and one is the beta. Okay. Now another important thing that you can see, if my beta is negative, then my exponential beta is also less than 1. If my beta is negative, the exponential beta is less than 1. If my beta is positive, my exponential beta is more than 1. It is just an observation. Otherwise, probability we cannot calculate from here. We can calculate from the Excel file, in the Excel file. And another thing that if I want to know that which variable is having the highest impact on the migration, I have to check the Wald statistic, and the Wald statistic tell me the agriculture field size is having the highest impact, followed by the members in the family and alternative occupation. So higher the Wald statistic, higher is the impact, and the impact is significant, we can see here. And now how to find out the probability, that I am showing you in the Excel file. So, but let me move one to one. First of all, let me apply the one-to-one binary logistic regression to show you something. That let me remove this first. We will go one by one. So this is the result I'm getting, and I'm copy. So I copy this result to use Excel file. Where is my Excel file? Yeah. So this is my Excel file. I hope you can see the Excel file now. Yes. In this Excel file, so I am using the this portion of the data set. This is my result. Let me delete this. Just see this process very carefully. Okay. So, I'm going to repeat the process once again. This is the agriculture, agri field, and the agriculture field, I have to check what is the minimum and maximum value of the agriculture field. So let me check it. What is the minimum and maximum value of the agriculture field? My minimum value and maximum value I have to check. So minimum value is 13, you can see here, and maximum value is 69. So now I'm going to use this here. 13 is the minimum value and the maximum value is 69. So let me drag it up to 69. Okay. After that, this is my basically the X value. Now I want to calculate the Z value. Z, what is Z? Z is the alpha. It is a constant plus the beta. It is also a constant and multiply by X. So this is the Z value. Z is equal to formula. You can see the formula here. And this is the Z value. After that, I am going to calculate the probability. Probability is equal to, I hope you know, this is the formula which I am going to apply. Exponential of Z divided by 1 plus exponential of Z, and that's it. So this is the probability that he is having the migrated. This is the probability of migration. So now I have the probability of migration. Let's plot it. So I'm going to just plot this. Okay. So this is my probability curve, and this probability curve you should plot in the research paper. Okay. So in this probability curve, you have to make few changes. I'm showing you the change. In this probability curve, this x-axis is showing me the wrong figures. So that I can change by clicking select data, and in the select data, I just edit it, and I select a range. This is the actual range, and click OK. Okay. Now you can see the actual graph. This is the graph which you have to report in the paper. Okay. So what this graph indicates? The graph indicates this graph indicate that this value, which is 27.27, this is 30. So actually, this value is 30, and this value is I have to check it, 49, around 49. So anybody who is having the agriculture land more than 49, the chances of migration is very low. So anybody who is having the agriculture field less than 30, the chances of migration is very high. And the most sensitive area that which the government should hit or target are those persons who are having the agriculture field less than 30 and 49. So this is the sensitive. This is the most sensitive area or region where the migration is highly sensitive, right? So we should target this area for stopping or reducing the migration part. Now this is the impact of migration on this is the impact of agriculture field on the migration. How the probability of migration is because of the agriculture field. Okay, now because there are many variables in the file, so I am showing you the interaction effect. So how to accommodate the interaction effect uh, in the logistic regression? Let's see. After this exercise, where is my file? My file is SPSS file is this. Yeah. Now I hope you can see the data set. I am adding one more variable here: regression, binary logistic. Now I want to see the members of the family. I'm incorporating the members of the family. I'm adding one more variable in the equation. Okay. After adding the equation, I'm taking this data. So it is showing me that higher the agriculture field, the impact of agriculture field is negative. More fields, less migration. Less field, more migration. But in members of the family, the beta is positive. The beta is positive means more member, more migration. Less member, less migration. So in this way, we can understand the impact, and the actual impact we can see in the probability curve. So let's take this result, and now I'm showing you the interaction effect, and I hope you will enjoy it. Delete this part I do not need, and this is my alpha, this is my beta, beta 1, beta 2. So first of all, I need the x1, or my x1 is the agriculture field. So let me write here agri field, which starts from the 13 up to 69. So that I have seen in the data set. So it is up to 69. Okay. Now see the trick, because now I'm going to show you the trick. The x2 is members of the family, and this is my z, and so suppose the family is having only two members. So let's assume that the family is having only two members. So what is the value of z in that case? So z is equal to constant plus beta 1. This is my beta 1, and I am putting the dollar, multiply with the x1 plus beta 2. This is the constant value multiplied by the members of the family, and so on. So this is the value of the z. Okay, copy. Now I want to calculate the probability. So probability, I can take the formula from here. So I can just copy the formula, because the probability formula is same everywhere. Okay, now you can see that the probability I calculated, this is the probability. Now I copy these values here. So I'm copy these values here. So let me call it 2 P2, means probability of migration when there are two members. Now I'm changing this to, let's say, 4. Okay, now probability changes, and copy. So this is the probability when the members are 4. So I'm writing here probability when the members are 4. Then I'm taking the 6. What happens when the members are 6? Copy. So I'm taking the probability copy and pasting here. So this is the probability of six members. So let me do again 8. So when the members are 8, you can keep these numbers as according to your choice. So that is not a problem. So now I'm okay. So I'm copy the probability again. This is the probability when the members are 8. Okay. Now I just want to plot these graphs. Insert graphs and this. Okay. So this is the probability curve with interaction with the members of the family. So what it means, what it means, the meaning is that this value I have to change, select data. The data is actually from 13. So agriculture field is this. Yeah. Now we have the real data. With this plot, you should take into the research paper. And one of the paper which I consulted was won Young Scientist Award because of this logistic regression model. Okay. And yeah, this is the probability curve. And you can see that if the members of the family are increasing, there is a right shift to the migration. So you can see that there is a right shift uh, in the behavior of the migration, in the migration behavior. So we can also represent this kind of graph, that if the members of the family is 2, the migration behavior is this. If the member of the family is 4, this is the migration behavior. So how the behavior of the migration uh, it is because of the members of the family, and assuming the constant agriculture field. So this graph is showing you the actual behavior of the probability. And all these values are the probability of the different combinations. So now I am showing you one more combination, and let me show you one more combination that is also a very important combination. Let's move to the Excel SPSS file once again, and go to the analyze, regression, binary logistic. Now I'm not taking the members of the family, I'm taking the alternative occupation. So let's click on it and take the result from here. And after that, you just take the results here, and I'm deleting this portion. And I'm taking the copy the value of agri, and these values I'm copying from here, so that just after changing the values, I will get the results. Okay, so let's this is the agriculture field. Now this is the alternative occupation, and my this value is I have to change the value. This is okay, this actually completely changes. So Z value I am changing by constant plus beta 1 multiply by the agriculture field plus beta 2, which is a constant, multiply by this, and I think that's it. Now suppose there is no alternative occupation. So I assume that there is no alternative occupation. In that case, this is the probability, and let's make the graph here. So this is the graph of the migration when there is no alternative occupation in the village. Okay, but let me delete it because we have to make combined graph. So I copy, paste here, and I have to paste as a value. This is the probability. No alternative occupation. When there is no alternative occupation. Now, if I provide the alternative, if the government provide alternative occupation, so what is the probability after that? So this is the probability after providing the alternative occupation. So I write probability with alternative occupation, and let's plot it. Insert graph this. Okay. Now you can suggest to the government that if alternative occupation can be provided, so the migration can be stopped by this much, right? So this is this gap. This gap is actually the reduction in the migration if you provide the alternative occupation. So let me edit the agriculture field. Yeah. Okay. Now this is the behavior of migration, right? Basically, this is without. Without means this one. This one is without, and this is with alternative occupation. So the shift is basically this side. If the government provide alternative occupation, the migration can be moved to right hand side, the lower side. Migration can be reduced. Okay. Now, if you want to calculate the exact value, you can do one thing. Like you take the difference. Difference means what is the probability with alternative occupation minus the probability without alternative occupation. This is the, I want to calculate the difference between the probability with alternative occupation, with no alternative occupation. Okay, let me calculate it. Now, after that, I'm interested in finding out the average of this. So this is 3.4%. 3.4%. So right. So what it means? It means that I write here, if the alternative occupation is provided to the villagers, migration can be reduced to 3.42%. Right. So this is the meaning of this. By taking the difference and the average. Similarly, you can do it with the here also. If the members of the family decrease by 2 or 1, how much migration can be reduced? You can calculate from here. And finally, now I'm going to the making the final model. Alternative occupation members in the family, like this. So in the end, you have to report this model, and in this model, this model is indicating that all the variables are having the significant effect on the migration, and the highest effect of the migration is because of the agriculture field, then members in the family, and then alternative occupation. And after this model, actually in the logistic regression, the most important are the conclusion which we are drawing from the Excel file. And unfortunately, these insights you cannot get from the SPSS file. Calculating the probability, calculating the marginal probabilities, and calculating the probability curves. So these facilities we can only calculate from the Excel file, not from any other, on the SPSS only. So that's why I spend time in calculating all the things, and we have to calculate the probability graph for each and every variable and the most possible combinations. So there are different possible combinations we can make, and because it is taking time, so I'm not making any other combination. So you can make a combination of the members of the family and the alternative occupation. You can make the combination of members of the family and agriculture field. So there are different combinations you can make. And after making all the combinations and getting the results from the SPSS, a complete paper can be ready. So I hope you understand the logistic regression. And this is the model. This is the exponential beta. Exponential beta means the exponential of this beta. And standard error, volt test, each and everything is clear. Hit ratio. Hit ratio is explaining the accuracy, percent accuracy. And this is the value of R square. And no other value we need from the output. So if you understand this, this is the complete logistic regression model. Okay.